We're here for part 2 of the OBX wave report here on Saturday, February the 18th. We did have an internet interruption down in the Outer Banks, and I'm on travel right now, so I am now broadcasting to you live from a secure, undisclosed location somewhere near the capital of Washington, D.C. Kat is looking at me strangely. Yes. Yes, I'm on travel. So, but in any case, I am Robert Scribbler, your wave reporter, to discuss with you all things waves, weather, climate, and beach lifestyle. And I'm going to finish the second half of the wave report that I started earlier. And so, when last we got cut off, I was going to show you the jet stream, and this does have an impact on weather across the United States. And right now, what we are seeing is a persistent ridge, kind of like an omega, almost omega blocking pattern here in the Pacific Ocean with a persistent high pressure system here near Alaska and a persistent trough with right now an upper level low that looks like it's about to get cut off of the west coast. And then here for the east, we've got high pressure system offshore that's kind of pushing the jet stream further up to the north, which is creating this pocket of warmer air here over the Outer Banks and the US Southeast, while the West Coast is looking stormier. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you the progression of the jet stream over the next few days into the 20th and then the 21st and on into the 22nd. And as we get into the 22nd, we see this high pressure, upper level high pressure system strengthening over the Bahamas, which is the center of the warm air. And we are expected to see warmer than normal conditions here for the Gulf Coast region and the US East Coast. And this high pressure system is also being influenced by warmer than normal ocean water temperatures here in the Gulf of Mexico and the North Atlantic, providing some added kick to the heat here that is expected in the east. I say heat, it's just unseasonably warm conditions expected for wintertime for February. And then for the West Coast, you've got this big old dip in the jet stream. And then off the West Coast, a large high pressure ridge pushing a ridge up into Alaska, which will likely set off much warmer than normal conditions up there. So that's what we're seeing. This is going to affect the weather pattern for the Outer Banks. And so we're going to tend to have some less stormy conditions, warmer conditions over the next week or so. And so looking at the storm prediction center over the next few days, we don't really see much in the way of severe weather expected for the United States, with the exception being parts of Arkansas, looks like Mississippi, Alabama, northern Mississippi and Alabama on day 3, and then some possible severe weather on day 5. So, and 5 days out would be next Thursday. So not much in the way of severe weather expected for the United States. And then getting into the longer range forecast, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this because this is a model one run from earlier this morning. So let's get to model run from this evening. So right now the frontal system, the gale force front that swept through last night, bringing us heavy rains and strong winds, is now well offshore. And high pressure is starting to build in across the US East. This will bring warmer temperatures tomorrow, although the waves will tend to fall down pretty rapidly as the front passes. And then out west, we've got some snows up in the Rockies and some rains in the Seattle region. I'm going to go ahead and advance this model. And so we see the high pressure system heading on off the east coast into tomorrow, Monday, bringing a southerly flow as another high pressure system builds in from the Gulf. Little bit of disturbed weather over the Outer Banks late Monday, but not too much as a front kind of forms off the east coast and then sweeps on out. Looks like there's a dividing line between warm and cold here, but not firing up too crazily. We've got a low pressure system over the Great Lakes region and a low over the Rockies and the US Northwest and the British Columbia region, bringing some wintry weather there. And then as we get on into Tuesday, we get kind of a stationary front hugging the coastline here in the Outer Banks and then sweeping on up through Tennessee and then dipping down into Texas. Some storms firing up across that line as it bulges into a warm front and starts to head northward in association with a larger system, very large weather system firing in the central US. This is interesting to me. That looks like a relatively strong 997 millibar low pressure system. So not a bomb cyclone type system, but nonetheless a relatively strong storm system sweeping on through the central and northeastern US. So the Mississippi River Valley up through the Ohio River Valley and into the northeast by Friday of next week. And then weather becoming more intense for the US West Coast into Saturday, even here as we are here in the Outer Banks, likely warmer and drier as we get into Saturday. So that's a general forecast for the next week. Now, on the coastline, I do want to provide you guys with the wave forecast. And it is worth noting that waves have already dropped from the heights that we saw earlier this morning. And so right now we're getting wave heights in the range of 4 to, looks like maybe 4 to 5 feet in the near offshore environment, three to 5 feet in the near offshore environment with waves coming in out, the swell coming in out of the east and northeast. And then as we get into the day on tomorrow, the swell is expected to turn more toward the east, so coming from the east, heading toward the west, and wave heights much smaller in the range of 2 to maybe 3.5 feet in the near offshore environment. Then as we get on into Monday, waves turning around to the south with a southerly wind coming in. So waves coming in from the southeast in the range of 2 to 3 feet as well. So again, smaller wave heights. And then as we get on into Tuesday, similar wave heights in the range of 2 to 3 feet as well in the near offshore environment. And then Wednesday, even smaller in the range of, well, 2 to 3 feet, but looks even smaller with the swell a little bit confused, likely due to calm conditions. And then we don't really have much in the way of a forecast for Thursday. So overall, unfortunately, waves will tend to be relatively small over the next 5 days, according to the model forecast, although we might find some nice rideable waves in the 1 to 2 foot, 1 to 3 foot range for some of the beaches. When I get back from my secret travel expedition, I'll get back to the coastline and get some observations for you, hopefully get in the water with our new cameras and give you guys some good videos of the surf as we get into the water. So thank you for joining me for this part 2 of the OBX Wave Report on February the 18th. Sorry about the internet interruptions. The interwebs did not cooperate, but we did get you back with a part 2. And as I typically do, I'd just like to ask you guys all to please do everything you can to help protect our beautiful coastlines from the impacts of climate change driven by fossil fuel burning. The primary solution right now being a rapid transition to clean energy, that being wind, water, solar, and electric vehicles. So thank you for joining me again, and I will be back with you for another remote OBX Wave Report tomorrow.